Okay, let's get started. All right, welcome, and let's jump right into item one, pavement, well, items one and two, pavement preservation presentation. That really rolls off the tongue. And the update on the well and booster station. Ted, and it looks like you've brought backup. Wrong way, wrong way.
We're over. We're over here.
I like this meeting.
Smart.
So,
Great.
would it be okay if we just reverse one and two real quick?
Yeah.
We're still waiting on one guy to show up for the pavement management plan. He should be here any minute, but
All right,
we can
that's great.
update on the well.
Well, there he is.
Oh, there he is right there. So we'll talk a little bit about the pavement management plan while he's getting set up. I mean, we'll have you set up on this table right here with your computer. Then send you a log into the Zoom, and then you can just share your screen. I'll have to pull up a chair right here and start setting up while I kind of introduce it. So, yes. So this is McLean Farmer and Eli Bartholomew from Jones DeMille Engineering. They've been working on a pavement management plan for us, the one that the council authorized some months back. A pavement management plan, just kind of give you an idea, and he'll get into the details of it, but kind of one of the things we wanted to start doing as we're going forward is start to plan out our, kind of an asset management plan, figure out what we've got, what condition they're in, and then a plan to move forward on how to repair, fix, update if needed or whatever. So kind of plan the projects and then execute. So this is kind of that planning phase. Pavement management plan is something that goes through and basically assesses our pavement based on some, we'll call it road standards without getting into details. Tells us what condition they're in, and based on those conditions can help us figure out what kind of treatments we should be putting on them, how often, and costs and stuff like that. Basically gives us a program to start tackling these roads systematically. So that's what they've been working on. We were the benefactors of them partnering with another company that just started doing this using AI technology. So they asked if they could use this technology. Were we the first or second city used it on? Or third? Oh, okay. So we were in the top two anyway. That they used it on, and they come and present it to the staff here a little while ago or to me, and it was really cool technology. So I think you'll be excited to see it. But McLean is going to go through and just kind of show you what the plan is. It's all online, and it's something that we have a free membership, I think, for a year, and then after that, we can just buy an annual pass and we can keep it updated and execute it, and update as we need to. What's that? Find. Yeah, it's just a login. It's a private invite. So I'm just going to keep it myself, and then we can update you. Yeah. No, we probably won't, just because I don't want people in there messing with things. And yeah, we'll probably keep it close quarters, but we'll do updates to you guys occasionally when we update stuff. And that's the cool thing about this. It's all using a camera that does the AI on the front of the truck when they drove it. And it takes snapshots every 10 feet. So we've almost got Google, like updated Google images of all of our streets and stuff like that all, as well. So anyway, I'm just going to let McLean just kind of jump into this and go through it with you.
Awesome. Thank you. I apologize for being late. A little longer drive than I anticipated, but
Yeah, you're right on time.
yeah, I run in right at 6 o'clock. So, first off, we appreciate you for letting us work on this project. Of course, we're very familiar with Ted, and the work that he does here in the city. And so just to give you some background really quick, we originally anticipated us just going out and doing the assessments ourselves, which we actually completed. So we had completed the majority of the project basically before we got this AI technology and got up to speed on it. So we kind of we knew that we were in the middle of this project and we needed something to test it on. And so we kind of said, hey, Ted, will you let us come do this within Woodland Hills? We'll give you the software for free this year. Like, we just want to test it out. so that we can show people what we did within Woodland Hills. So Ted allowed us to do that. We came up, Eli and I came up, showed Ted kind of how it worked. It's very simple. You mount the phone in your truck and then you go drive the streets. You can see as I zoom in here. There's a dot every 10 feet, both directions, so you can click on that. Click on what some people would call like a Google Earth Street View, and you can click through literally every 10 feet and see the image that pops up.
Wow.
Cool.
Along with that, so yes, we actually did the assessment once, just by us doing it. Then we drove it once and I did it wrong, and then I drove it again.
Oh.
So we've done
So
it
you're
3
joining our
times.
Public Works Department as an assistant.
Yes. So Eli's helped me a lot with this. He drove the second time through. We got the phone mounted just right to the right angle and stuff, and got that fixed. But anyway, I'm gonna turn off the points so you can see.
Yeah, they're different colors. Is that the condition of the roads?
Yes.
I figured.
So each point has an assessment on them.
Huh.
Then if I turn them off, you're just, oh, sorry, wrong one. You're just gonna see the segment now. So I zoom out here. Okay. So I've turned the segments off now, or sorry, the points off now. So each of these little segments that you see, if I click on one, maybe. If I click on one, you're gonna see on the right-hand side, there's 2 scores. One of them's called an EMI score. One of them's called a PCI score. Typically in the US, we go off of what's called PCI score, which is Pavement Condition Index. And that's the score of 0 to 100. And 100 being the best, 0 being the worst. So right now you're sitting at like if you put it on like a grading scheme, you're sitting at like a C on this road. And then we look at, okay, how do we get it from a C to an A? And we determine what treatments to put on that road to get us back up to the A level. There's some roads like this one.
People?
That one is failing,
The
clearly.
picture tells you everything right now.
Better score than I thought it would get.
So EMI 5 is the worst on the EMI score, and PCI 32, that's still failing, right? So it's to the point of,
Complete.
yeah.
Complete.
So basically what that means, and this is how Ted can use this data and the city can use this data, basically you're not going to want to treat that road. You're going to want to look for funding to basically reconstruct it. And so what Eli has done, I'm going to throw Eli a little hot button here. Or hot potato, there you go. I'm going to have him talk about the plan segment piece and how he did that, and I can chime in here for a second as well.
So for the plan segments, first we met with Ted and came up with the preferred treatments for the roads, and we decided that we would have a treatment for the roads that completely need to be repaired, so pulverize and repave those. We had a treatment for the roads that are in decent shape but just need a little bit extra to get back up to the 100%, and that's a microsurface. And then we had another treatment for the in-betweens, and that's mill and fill. So you'll go through, grind up, mill up the top layer of the road, and then pave over that. And then with those treatment types in mind, we went through all of the roads individually. And some roads we had to divide up into different segments depending on the condition. Not all of them are the same condition throughout. But we divided them up and then assigned a treatment to each segment. And if you want to show them the table, we can. This is what's really cool, yeah. So it tabulates all of the treatments and the roadways and the
Oh,
segments,
Wow.
and you can sort them by treatment type and by year that you want to do those treatments. And it makes it really slick for organizing all of your
It's very
roadways.
cool.
Yeah.
And it tells you exactly how much, what the length of the road is that needs repaired in that particular
Right.
And the width as well.
Yeah.
So Eli actually
width.
went out during this process and he's gone through, measured all the widths of the roads so that we could come up with a cost estimate for this street.
This also, you can see to the kind of to the right, there's the cost for each segment, relative based on. So one thing that I think is really cool, and bring a little bit of so like in say 2025, as you know, we've had this presented before, and I even talked to this, but generally you don't want to start right off just with your first rows and straight. Right? You want to try and save ones that are in decent shape, extend the life of those. So our first project we would think about doing would be trying to improve those rows that are pretty good shape and make them last longer. Spend some money there, then you come back and start fixing these other roads. So if we look at, for example, the roads that we did with the water project, the 4 miles of roads we did with the water project, they're in decent shape right now. If we let them go, they're going to continue to fail, and then they'll be to a point to where it's going to cost us a lot more money to fix those. And if we just come back and put some treatment on them now, that's a little less expensive and extend the life of them. So one thing we can do with this table, get up there, is we can go and say, okay, we want to look at all the micro sill projects, which is a way to extend the life of the decent road. Micro sill projects that we want to do in 2025, and you can sort that table. We want to do micro sill 2025 projects, and look at all those, and it'll tell us, okay, you've got $500,000 worth of and we can continue to do that throughout the years and kind of plan these projects systematically. And I think the way you kind of line them on the table, if I remember right, something like 5 or 6 years.
No.
Get through most of these projects.
Can you hand me my other headphones so I can, Ted's presenting? It's in the with the key, sorry.
Hey, Chris, we can hear you. So be careful what you say about Ted.
I said Ted's presenting, I gotta be able to hear him. I need my other headphone.
We plugged our ears.
Anyway, keep going. Sorry, that was just a little interjection.
No, that's great. So like Ted was saying, we've outlined these projects for we said 2025, not knowing exactly what the funding is going to look like for the city. I know Ted's talked to us about a potential project for 2025. But I filtered out on the screen here those roads that would be microsurfaced in 2025 based on the assessment of the tool that we're using.
So microsurface means these are the best roads in town.
Yeah.
All of this that you're showing us.
Yeah. So the microsurfacing, it's kind of like a chip seal. Some of you might be familiar with chip seal, but instead of putting oil down, then laying chips on top, then sealing the chips, it's basically doing that all in one fell swoop. So you're mixing all the aggregate oil, there's a little cement powder mixed in, and it gives you one paved smooth surface.
This is the type you see when you see a nice finished black road rather than chips.
Yeah.
With all our drainage issues.
Mhm.
This will give us a nice finished.
And it's not a seal coat. It's not just a paint seal coat that we're
No.
doing on there. We're doing an actual layer.
Yeah.
So, question though, how long will the people on Maple have to wait to get their road fixed? Because I hear from them all the time.
Yeah, and that's a good question. So
Yeah.
there's 2 ways to plan these projects, right? One is we can plan them by year based on project. The way we're probably going to plan these projects is by available budget.
Yeah.
What do we have available to spend on those? So we kind of plan that out. So you can look at you go back to the table. The table then tells you kind of the year we would be planning that project. mean, what we're trying to do is maximize our funding. Because if you start on Maple, we're gonna blow through all of our money on Half Mile Road. Meanwhile, the roads that are in decent shape are getting a lot worse. So now by the time we get to those, we're expecting a lot more money.
Well, on Maple, aren't we just waiting for the second phase of the water project?
Right, we're kind of waiting for that water. We submitted that funding for that water project, rebuild with that, that's what.
Okay.
So,
So when next time they ask, that's what I can tell them. That's what we're waiting for.
Funding, because a road like that, we're likely gonna have to get some funding.
I ran
For-
into Doug Pinter today. He asked me.
for our public perception that Janet's talking about, we need a good TED Talk, you know, to explain that.
It's gonna take more than a TED Talk.
With the
I've
main,
already had a couple suggestions on road pavement management, which we'll do a TED Talk on, roundabout, how to drive your roundabout.
I have some stuff that Sheriff Betson sent me on roundabouts too. So we could combine if you want.
Anyway,
Increased
but
coverage.
the idea is you want your money to go as far as it can go, and so you spend all of your 3 years worth of money, 6 years worth of money trying to do half a mile of Maple. Meanwhile, all the other roads now failed, and now you can't. Once again, you behind, you fall, and you're gonna spend 5 times as much money. That's why they say always save your good ones first and then come back.
makes sense.
I gotta say, that's actually really encouraging. I was expecting it to be all red. So, I mean, that's way more salvageable road than I feared we might have.
And the big pothole on Maple's big. I've gotten really lots of thank yous.
I know, me too. Lots of texts on that.
Woodland Hills Reservoir.
And the one on Schoolhouse too.
Which is interesting, because I got a few people in Maple tell me, we don't want to pay, it encourages, it would encourage the traffic. Like it, but it's not paved.
But
I'm
the
not-
big,
I'm-
huge
I'm not-
pothole was also fixed on Maple.
Mhm.
Yes. But there's still rough. There's still that one spot where there's like an overpour, and you can see where our blades have hit. I want to get that squared away before we don't mess up the clouds. Unless we want to.
Oh, we should say the blades are gonna get it.
They'll cut it.
They'll just cut it down.
Shear right off.
They're actually floating.
So just really quick, some additional added value that you get with the software. It takes pictures every 10 feet. So then the AI automatically gives you all of your manholes within the city. So you can see all the manholes. You can see a picture of each
Oh.
one.
Cool.
So like, for example, this one, you can click on it. Maybe if I can get my mouse to work, you can see a picture of the manhole. It's over here. I can, there we go, right there. You see the manholes there. Same thing here. You can see the manholes. Some of those may be water valves because the AI sometimes can't tell the difference between them, but there's that. And then you also get your traffic signage, so you can see every sign within the city. And it gives you an assessment of that sign, so you can click on each sign. You see a picture of the sign over here on the right-hand side.
Can you add bullet holes and graffiti to your graphics? So
You
that,
sh- You sure can. You asked,
realistic
you asked the right question. So over here, you, sorry. Typically,
Oh, dirty,
stickered
faded.
means
Stickered?
that they're bullet holes.
Oh, look at that.
Oh my gosh.
So you can filter those. You can
There you
see,
go, Mayor.
Not that I did it, I'm just aware of it.
you can see the stop sign either has, that might just be some bird poop or something, but anyway, you can filter that out. You can see what ones are dirty. You can
Huh.
see which ones are faded. You don't have any faded, and then you can see which ones are good. So it gives you a sign inventory of every sign within the city. So you have that data as well.
So if it's already on here as our original thing, if one is stolen, will it pop up that it's no longer there so you know?
You'd have to rewrite it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to so you wouldn't notice that.
You could go back and say, look at this and say, well, there was one there when this was done.
Does it show dead end versus no outlet?
That is a great question.
I mean, I
Oh,
guess
yeah.
if you see a picture, you will probably get it.
Right there, no outlet.
The picture tells everything.
It is not. Not currently. I mean, they're adding stuff to this all the time. So if you keep up with if you like pay the yearly fee, which I think I can't remember what I told you it was. Yeah, yeah, I wish.
And you're being recorded.
Yeah, somewhere around 3,000 a year. It's what it is. So, yeah.
I like the 20 bucks better.
When you do roads, you can claim it again. up to-
Oh, that's what I
reassess
wondered.
it
Cross off that question.
So you could just do that annually or whatever.
As you do road projects.
So basically, the company that we're partnered with, they'll help provide a phone that's specifically for this. It's yelling at me that I got to plug in, but I may be okay. We've gone over everything essentially. They can sell Ted or the city a phone that he can use specifically for this. So pull it off the desk. The issue with using your own phone is you're collecting like literally thousands of images as you drive. So you're gonna run out of space pretty quick if you do it on your own versus having a phone specifically for this.
Or guys, we go back to the line cable. So
You did say that fire hydrants may be in the future added.
just FYI, we do have all our items. I have another GIS platform that can, something that's built out of the water system. That's all our sewer system. Go to cable. Have to sort all five. If we get all the projects.
Yeah, I remember how to do this. I apologize. There we go. I apologize.
In this case, we have a filter. Six projects. We have plan is built, finish everything through one time, like in 6 or 7 years. Get you all of our roads. Now, that's gonna be dependent on budget. In some cases, we fund water projects or whatever. Tackle that, at least it gives us an idea of our plan.
Or the estimations calculated on here, that's just part of the computer program. So as you put in all of those specs, then it will generate the estimated amount based on current market value.
So that's where we come in is we make sure that we edit that cost because, like, for example, a microsurface in Kanab is going to be a lot more expensive than a microsurface in Woodland Hills. So we adjust
That's on
those.
your end.
Yeah, we adjust those costs, and we could Ted update that as needed. So
Then it applies a unit cost.
yeah.
If I remember right, it was like
So it gives you the length of that area,
yeah, it gives you the area.
1,400 feet for that particular area.
With the width, and then the area column is the area in square yards
Oh.
of the width and the length.
It also shows how much this one thing will extend the life of it. And then the next process that we do to it extends the life more and more. So that's kind of what it helps calculate our plan is to say, This will extend the life 6 years, and we won't have to go back and do anything until it's getting, to the next point where it needs another extension.
And those extensions are very conservative. Like 6 years is pretty low for a microsurfacing. We've been doing microsurfacing for a lot of counties and cities. They're seeing that last up to 10 years before you need to do another one.
Is that including heavy salting, extreme weather conditions, things of that nature?
That's a little different here, right? But in my opinion, this holds up a lot better than a chip seal does with that, because the plows are taking those chips off with it typically on a chip seal, where a microsurfacing, it's a smooth surface and it's really hard to peel that up. So perfect. Any other questions for us, I guess?
Oh, it's really cool.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Like I said, we appreciate working with you guys, and happy that this worked out. Like, honestly, perfect timing for this to come out.
So I have a quick question. When you guys did your assessments, how far did you go into your manual, what you normally would have done, and compare it to this AI calculation? And how well did they compare? I don't know how far you went on your calculations.
I think that's a great question.
The analysis.
I don't think we got as far as making any maps though. I think once we got this software up and running, we just
Yeah, but
kibosh.
did you prove
maybe
that it does what Jones and DeMille normally does? That's what I'm asking.
One of the questions, Brian, or maybe one of the answers, I think is, if I remember right, he's going to correct my statements. Normally when they go out and do these physically by hand, so that's what they do when they do this,
Yep.
they go walk them, right? Based on a manual.
It's actually it's developed by LTAP is what it's called. Yeah.
They're looking at certain criteria, cracks, direction of cracks, all that kind of stuff, and then they kind of rank the road based on that. I think there was like 9 points or something like that you look at. This AI looks at it.
Yeah,
15
16
points,
I think.
16 points.
Yep.
So it's looking at a lot more criteria than what you would do manually.
I'm just wondering how
So
it
you get better
compared to your normal process, if it gave the same as a PCI score.
Yeah. It actually did a remaining service life instead. So rather than a PCI score, it would give us a remaining service life, which we can convert to.
Okay, I didn't know if you compared
But,
it or not, just to
yeah.
see.
We didn't compare it. I did compare on another project that we tried the same process on. And the problem with a person going out and doing it is there's always going to be inconsistencies. And that's why we like jumped to this idea to partner with this firm or this company, was because we were seeing that there's no politics involved. It's the assessment is what it is. There's not me going out and Eli going out and getting two different scores. We're getting a consistent score no matter what it is. So
I've seen some concerns of slough off on the edges of the road and it's breaking. You know, there's quite a few of those spots. I don't know if this system would catch that.
So this system won't catch it unless it's like within the causing cracks within the
Okay,
pavement structure.
okay.
But when we go to design on like the microsurfacing or the overlays or whatever it may be, we'll want to look at those sections and make sure we're building that shoulder up so that
Okay.
it's not
Yeah,
breaking off like
that
that.
would be helpful.
All right. Well, that was very helpful. Thanks.
Thank you.
And Jody, this is all recorded for citizens that we've just watched, right? So it would be valuable to forward questions on, to have them watch this. It's a good system.
The biggest question it helps answer is like what the citizen says, what you want. 16, we're going to
Yeah,
start
cool.
giving information.
Yeah.
Skynet said that we should do it later.
Well, and it will help when we're explaining the budget as well. You know, to be be able to say, this is how many projects we can get out of the money that we have. This is the reason we're going this direction. And your road will be on this year.
I think that's going to be huge to have it earmarked for specific tasks, which I don't think we've really had so much in the past.
Never.
Well, and when we have our town hall, that would be a good place to maybe have the map and some of that explanation that you can put out and just explain it. This is the year that we're going to be doing this.
You're putting the right tree.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Throwing whatever you want.
And,
on it.
and maybe it produces some reports if citizens want one or,
As far as,
We would probably type up a summary.
yeah.
okay.
At the picked up.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're gonna help us with maybe just some summary of what they've done.
Yeah.
But for citizens, that'll be more of a technical type.
Okay.
It'll help us, but I think for citizens, they will have to take that. and put it in.
Yeah. Yeah.
A nice way of saying dumb it down.
Okay, well, then are we ready to move on to the well and booster station?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah,
being
very-
here.
Thank
You
you.
don't have to leave. You're welcome to stay for, unless you're on the clock.
Mayor, that's,
I got a long drive ahead of me, so I might,
Yeah.
I might head out.
Yeah, no, understood. Well, thanks again for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
You gotta watch Ted in the hot seat though.
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, this is it for the, so the well update. So maybe just to give you kind of a little quick background, I'll try not to make this as long as it really turned out to be. So if you don't know, so we have a SCADA system that monitors our well, and I can tap into that from my phone at any time. 2 weeks ago, this Thursday, I usually first thing I do when I get up in the mornings is I check it and look at it, make sure, we've got water for everyone. I got up and I saw that the tank level was lower than it should normally be for the pump to kick on, and the pump wasn't on. And so I got a little bit nervous. This was like 5:45 in the morning. Threw on my clothes and ran up here to the city to see if I could find out what was going on with the SCADA. SCADA wasn't correcting anything, so then headed for the well, and the pump was really off. And there was an error code on the panel that controls the pump that said it was overcurrent. Anyway, so after doing some digging around, had some help from some people, called the supplier of the drive that controls the pump. He was very familiar with our system, gave us some good information on what possibly the issue is, and it turned out it was our motor on our pump. Was able to get hold of a pump supplier, the one that supplied the backup pump that we've got sitting up there. Called them. They were able to get a crew up there within, I think, half hour they were there. Brian was with me. He's got background in this kind of stuff, so it was great to have him there. And Mark Savine, who many of you know, he was helping Corbett with the system when Corbett was here. So he had a lot of just kind of system knowledge. So both those guys were there. So we had a lot of good help. And anyway, they came out, the pump company came out, did some testing, and determined it was something with either the wiring or the motor. They had a crew up there that afternoon, start pulling the pump because there was no way to start it. In the meantime, we ran down, crossed our fingers that the booster pumps work because I really hadn't started them since I've been here. Booster pumps fired up and worked like we'd planned on for the most part. Found out through the process we can't control them automatically like our well. It has to be on off manually. So there was a lot of back and forth day and night to the pump station to turn it on and off to keep the tanks full. But it worked out. We were able to get by, and we're still getting by because the well's still not fixed.
Did that mean you're boosting water from there to there? Okay.
So
Like
there's
we used
through
to
this
do.
booster station, there's two things we can do. It comes out of Maple Canyon. The booster station pumps it up to our tank, and then we can feed the city through there.
Right.
There's also a bypass that bypasses the boosters and will feed the lower part of the city without having to be boosted up the tank.
Mm.
So we're doing both those right now.
Oh.
I wondered if something had changed overnight because I had air in my lines today, and then I saw a citizen that was complaining about the water.
Yeah, I've had three calls today about the water. It's actually Salem operates and maintains that system. It's because it's coming out of Maple Canyon right now. We share that. If you don't know, we share a well and tank over in Maple Canyon with Salem. But they operate and maintain it. So I called Salem's water operator today, and they're going to go up and check on it, see if there's an issue with the water up there.
Hopefully not.
What's that?
Hopefully not, since they're the ones that.
Yeah, yeah. If it is, it's probably going to be an odor taste issue. I mean, just maybe have to figure out how to deal with that for a day or two. But so we've been running off since about 2 weeks ago. This Thursday, we've been running off that booster station over there and tank. The following week, I got working with the SCADA guys, and we were able to finally get the boosters running automatically. So they kick on and off automatically now with the tank level. But during this whole process, learned a lot about the system, which was great. I think we've got some priorities now on water system stuff that we need to address, which helped a lot. So this was kind of the baptism by fire, but was a great way to do it. So anyway, we got when they got the pump and motor pulled up here out of our well, they found out it was the motor that was gone bad. A couple other things on the pump too that were not great, but they were able to repair those. But we basically had to get a new motor, and that was the one text that came out. Motor was $25,400 for the new motor. They got the new motor in, got it put on, and as they were coming back up, they realized that the cable, our pump sits 550 feet down below the surface, is where it pulls water from. So this cable comes up from 550 feet down that runs the pump motor. And as they were looking at that cable to put it back in, realized that it had about a 3-foot hole in the wire sheathing, and actually water had gone down in the cable. It could have been the cause for the motor going out. So basically we have to replace the cable as well. It was probably rubbing somehow on the casing or column. They don't know because they can't see when they're pulling it out. They don't know if it happened when it went in or if it's just.
You don't want to
Don't know. They don't know what caused it really. There's several things that could have caused it, but
He said
rats. Yeah.
That's why the water tastes funny.
We're just giving you free vitamins.
Joking.
Not even
It was a
charging you
joke.
for them. Yeah. So we had to.
face as
In the course of doing that, we have to replace the cable, and that was the second email or text you got from the mayor. Is as you know, we've been planning to do a well project in the fall, where the plan is to put a bigger pump and motor in, upsize some of our pipe and everything like that to get about another 400 gallons a minute out of the well. That's all being engineered right now. We thought it would be best to put that bigger cable in now that will provide the power for our bigger pump that we're going to put in the fall. So we don't have to buy smaller cable now for the pump we have and then basically tear that out and replace it in the fall. So that cable is very expensive, $60-ish a foot or something like that. It's $35,000 for the 560 feet we needed for that cable. But it's money we would have. The motor was $25,400.
Before labor.
Before labor. This is all just material costs. The benefit is we would have spent that money on the cable either way, either now or when we upgrade in the fall. So it's not
really an extra.
It's not really an extra. It's a cost we would have had. It actually probably in the long run for a well breaking down, probably saved us money from buying smaller cable now and then having to just replace that in the fall. Yeah.
And one of our residents helped us get it at cost.
One of our residents, Alan Wakefield, the pump supplier was having a hard time finding the cable. So I called Alan. Alan was right on top of it. Really great. By 7 o'clock that morning, he had found some for us through one of his connections in Oklahoma. That's where we had to get it from. So it had to be shipped here from Oklahoma. That was on Thursday, and we had it first thing Monday morning here. So they are back up there today. They got the cable, and they're back up there today putting the well in. They got about 2/3 of the way through today putting it back in, and they'll finish up tomorrow.
That's what I was going to say. It'll be all done tomorrow.
Should be all done tomorrow and back up and running. Yeah. So
Am I weird, or am I the only one that noticed the flavor was a little bit different of the water? It tasted a little bit different.
just today or
No, just
the
like
last.
since
It's
we
just-
switched.
Those are only choices.
Yeah, yeah. Are you weirder?
The filter on my fridge is
I was gonna
now
say-
got the light on, so I just assumed it was that.
Yeah. So about a month ago, maybe not quite a month ago, we had to switch over to the boosters for a little while. But we didn't switch to the boosters. We opened up the valve that feeds the lower part of town through Maple Canyon. So we were feeding just a part of town through Maple Canyon, and same thing happened. I got a few phone calls when it switched over to that water, talking about taste and odor stuff. Hopefully by tomorrow, Thursday, we're back running on our well again.
I'm picky. I take our water with me everywhere. I like our water. I work in PG. They always have boil orders and stuff up there, so I take our water with me.
Yeah. I don't, any other questions on the well? So, the supplier, he was hoping to have it to me right now. So we had those two costs. And then with that, we're going to have the labor costs, and there were some repair costs to the pump itself. They were able to fix that enough to get us by until fall. I still haven't got those costs. He's working on getting those. He was hoping to have them tonight for me, but he didn't get them. He just said we're probably going to be in excess of 10,000 for their labor and stuff like that. So
In the fall, we're replacing then the motor or the pump? Which one?
both.
Okay, in the fall, we're upsizing with both. So so right now, this replacement cost is, to fix it, is the 35,000 for the cable and then 25 for the motor. And then in the fall, we'll have another additional cost for the motor.
No, so, well, in part, we already have the motor and pump. It had been ordered a while ago. We've probably had it up there a few years. So the motor and pump, the bigger motor and pump we already have.
Oh.
The cable is the cable we bought just now for that bigger motor and pump. It'll work for our smaller one and the bigger one, so we won't have to buy new cable. So in effect, we'll have the motor pump and cable, but we're doing a lot more upgrades to our well house this fall. There's going to be a lot more involved in that.
And I think you also said that the motor with it being repaired will serve as a backup too. So
Correct.
it's not as though we're just dumping money into something that we'll be swapping out in the fall either. It'll
Yeah.
provide a useful purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always good to have backup pump and motor, which the one we just repaired, we'll put it on the shelf as a backup, depending on, the timing. A year ago, 2 years ago, we would have been waiting probably a year for this motor. They're not quite as bad now. So that's why we were able to get this one really quick. So it's always nice to have one on the shelf just in case we get into those circumstances again. So you're not waiting a year. You can have a backup ready to go. So.
All right, great. Any other questions? Oh, Sherry, yeah. You'll have to take a seat at a microphone.
Just wondered if all these little incidents that we've had, in regards to wells and which ones we're using, has it affected our pressure? The fire city, and they told me so I didn't go around my house checking all these things that it might have been. My pressure is down at my house for water. Has this affected our water pressure?
It shouldn't, because the water is still coming from the same location. So we have the tank just up above your house, and that's where our well is also, and that's the majority of the time, that's where our water comes from, as we pump it from our well right into that tank and then feed the city. In this case, when that well went out, there's a well over Maple Canyon, but we still have to take the water and boost it to this tank to feed the city. So the location of where the water comes from to the citizens hasn't changed. It's just the location where we have to get it from has. So it shouldn't affect pressure at all. It should
When
be
the
same
tank
pressures.
is emptier, wouldn't that be less pressure?
Well, technically, yeah, but you're talking by maybe 5 PSI at most.
So is that her valve in her house, or that she, you always talk about
PRV.
PRV.
Does she need to check for PRV or have someone check it?
Typically, when a PRV goes out, your pressure starts going up.
You'll lose, yeah, your pressure will go way up. And if it's pressure inside your house, so a PRV, that will cut higher pressure to lower pressure. So it cuts the higher city pressure to a lower pressure that you're,
I guess what I'm asking is maybe what's causing her
Because if it's,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, if it's 2 or 3 or maybe 5 PSI, it could just be based on elevation in the tank. But generally, most people don't notice that. I mean, it has to drop quite a bit. Now, if the city pressure dropped to below whatever your PRV set at, then that's the pressure you're going to get, is whatever the city pressure is. But it shouldn't. Yeah, the location of the water that we're getting it from now is the same as it always is.
It was a 30-minute process. Now it's an hour.
They're temperamental too. I wouldn't make the hummingbirds angry.
Yeah, they'll
They'll
dive,
attack you.
dive bomb you.
Yeah.
We've got, like,
They're flying needles.
we've got 3 or 4 feeders in our house.
Well, I was going to wait until my item 4A, but I do just want to say, I mean, Ted has gone above and beyond. I just can't say thanks enough. And Brian, thanks to you. And I wish Mark and Alan were here also, that we could convey our thanks. But really, thank you. I mean, you have gone to great lengths. And nobody even knew about it. Nobody even knew the sacrifices that were being made. So
That's
thank you.
the
And thanks to
hope.
Alicia.
Yeah, there were, I mean, a couple interesting things. Just the same time. So the only thing we had was our boosters, and that was the same time that day the power went out. So our booster station went out, which means we could no longer get water out of our tank. So that was a little bit of a panic moment. And once again, we've got great people here at the city. I mean, Jody was right on top of that. She had a message ready to go out. Did a great job in case we had to have people really start conserving water. But then when the power came back up, Salem couldn't get the Maple Canyon well running. It was powered out. So we were out there like at 1:30 in the morning trying to get that well running because that was our only source of water. Luckily, we got that one back up and running again before our tank got too low. And once again, I was texting the mayor and Jody at 11:30 at night saying, get a message ready. And they were all over it and had messages ready. So great group of people here.
And Jody, I'm sorry, I didn't mention you, but absolutely much appreciation due to you.
We always appreciate you.
Well, we underappreciate
Oh,
you.
we appreciate Ted doing it. We like showers, so.
Yeah.
We probably better put in our plan to get a generator built that'll run the well.
One of the lessons learned. So just to make a short story longer, we do have a backup generator, and maybe this is something that council will be approached with here in the future, that sits down at that booster station, and the booster station is set up to plug a generator into. I don't think that generator's probably been started, and maybe it's been sitting there for 15, 20 years. Mark and I, first thing when the power went out, Mark and I, Sylvain, we went down there and we started tearing into that generator, figuring out how we could hook it to the boosters.
Yeah.
Batteries are dead, cables are rotting out. I don't know if there's even fuel in it or how long it's been there.
That fuel wouldn't be-
Yeah, so
You'd run it very well.
It's not ready for an emergency.
it was not ready for an emergency. Hit one of my priority items. My thought is we might repurpose that to someone else and look at getting a reliable, good generator that we could plug into our boosters. When we do the well project in the fall, that one is going to be built with a generator that will automatically switch over to generator power when permanent power goes out, so we don't have to manually do it. But we ought to look for one there. And my thought is maybe we look at trying to set the city center up so we could use a backup generator, either location.
You know, interesting, we've had a couple brownouts at our church Sunday during sacrament meeting.
Yeah.
They're sitting there and speakers up there and everything goes out. Like, return missionary, he just kept talking, which was good. But that's the second time it's happened at our church building, and the rest of the city still was up. But I just wonder if we're going to start having more little brownouts all the time.
Yeah.
Kind of seems like it.
Yeah, that's
possible.
one thing we learned pretty quickly with this water thing is that we need to get these backup systems in place pretty quick.
Yeah.
The one thing that Ted did say too that gave me comfort in that regard is, in the meantime, you feel that there's at least a reasonably good likelihood that if we were in a pinch, we would be able to rent a generator for a temporary purpose.
Yeah, we'd probably reach out. I know when I was working with Jones and Mill, we were working with Stockton during their fire they had out there, and their emergency management group had one. And
That's right. Or you even
We
said from the
also-
county, maybe.
They brought it, yeah. So it might be we can reach out to Peter at the county and say we need a generator. They might have one they can bring up
They
to
have
us.
a whole trailer that is just for for emergency
Yeah.
power outages that we can
The
request.
demand might outdo the ability.
Yeah,
for us.
Yeah, it would have to be more of a localized power issue.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's wide scale and everybody's wells or pumps
hard to get
run
one,
on power, we might
Yeah.
not be top priority.
And Mayor,
Jody?
you might want to check with SESD during the fire. Mark Holdaway and Brooke were able to get us some generators, and so they may have some connections
Oh, okay.
there because we don't
Yeah.
have one at the upper wells either. So
Oh, yeah. All right, well, maybe tomorrow in staff meeting, we can pin that down. Good
It would be
suggestion.
smart to build a scenario where you test them at a frequency. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so
Like these home
what my
generators do.
what my plan is, and what I've done through my consulting life is when we built pump stations, I did a lot of well houses and pump stations. So we put our well house up there has a generator sitting there. It's just not hooked up right now because there's no means to hook it up yet. And that's part of this well project we're going to do in the fall is to get all the electrical in place. So we'll hook this generator up and it'll be hooked to an automatic transfer switch like you've been talking about with your house. So it'll automatically transfer over. But we also set them to start once a month
Yeah. Perfect.
because you want to keep them just exercised once a month. And that was always an operational guideline we set for these communities when we built these before is every
There's
month,
oil
kick it on
changes,
for an
there's
hour. And,
Maintenance. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ted. Okay, well, Chris, beyond the 90,000 for the well, give or take, I don't think we have any other large purchase requests or updates on sale of surplus equipment. Are you aware of any?
No, and I spoke with Ted today, and this was the biggest item right here. And kudos to former city councils and mayors, and we've got money in the savings account, especially in the water account. And this is one of those. It's not stressful. It's nice that we've got the backup. You guys have been great at saving money. Yes, it hurts to pay the monthly bill sometimes when you get a water bill that's $120. But man, there was not a sweat, never a concern that hey, we got to cut back, we got to go get a loan. What's we gonna do? This is awesome.
Great, thank you. Okay, well, then we'll move to item 4. Again, personnel. I think that we have got a great team here that makes great sacrifices. I wish Lori was here to hear as well, but I have nothing but praise for the people that we have working for our city. So thank you. 4B, Councilmember Hilliard.
Yes, so for the last couple emergency management meetings, they have fallen on the only 2 days that I've had things also going on. So thankfully, Carrie's been in attendance on those for me, but also I've been able to speak with them and get updated afterwards. But predominantly what I need for you guys, because I could give you all the details that you guys would just smile and nod at me for. But I did just email you all the CEMP final draft for the council review. So on the 16th of July, at that council meeting, we will be looking over that. Emily will be here from emergency management at the county level to be able to present that to us. She would love our thoughts because once we've kind of given her our thoughts, she will be making us hard copies of that. And we've kind of pushed her back a little bit on printing hard copies until you've all had kind of an idea and a chance to review them. So please take some time and look over that plan. I had the privilege of sitting through, I think, 2 of those meetings. Carrie kind of spearheaded that for the rest of it and the rest of the staff meetings, and they've put in lots and lots and lots of time to get that underway as well. I believe, Doral, you were in those meetings as well, right? Mm-hmm. So thank you, everybody who participated in helping get that plan underway. And that is pretty much all I have for this body. I've got more for tomorrow in staff meeting, though, but
Okay,
here, that's what I've got.
great, thank you.
Very good.
Councilmember Hutchings.
Okay, so on the 4th, we met with the Public Works. We're starting the certification process for getting more water. Again, talk with Ted, as I mentioned in our last council meeting, where we've got those Jordan, the South Jordan Canal and those funds. And Ted's working that side of things, so I believe he thinks it's not a problem. Ted, I'm putting words in your mouth, so yell if I'm wrong here. The well project is, okay. The well project, as Ted alluded to, is increasing in scope. But there are things that have been done, that you probably know well, Mayor, that have not been done right. And so Ted's trying to get us onto a path where we don't see these emergencies as much, and we don't see things that we can avoid. And again, these are things that we're looking at to avoid. We still have the funds available, so it doesn't look like the scope, I believe at the time, the scope wasn't creeping past the funds that we have available. And we do have some ARPA funds that do need to be spent by the end of the calendar year. So we're making sure that that gets done. We talked about the road management plan. We don't need to go over that anymore. The potholes was a soon, and now it's a done. So yay for Ted. Thank you very much. My wife is quit griping at me about schoolhouse.
No more teeth rattling, huh?
Well, she popped a tire.
Ah.
Last time she popped a tire in Payson actually paid for it. She's like, who do I send the bill to?
That would be Councilmember Hutchings.
Yeah.
Send the bill.
Trust me, I paid for it. West Loafer, when we had the meeting, we were nearly done with the design work. Are we finished, Ted?
West Lover is actually out to bid bids review on next
Ted?
Monday. Oh, sorry.
Mike?
West Loafer is out to bid right now, and bids are coming in on Monday from the contractors. So we'll open bids on Monday and hopefully have a contractor, selected and get ready to go on the project. So we should know Monday.
Great. So we talked about sewer maintenance, and we did talk about some plans on that, and we need to start planning for regular sewer maintenance and regular checking, either whether it be cameras, maybe we can do something similar where we set up our maps and run a camera in one spot one year, and then the ultrasonic and the rest of it, and go through those. It's a little spendy process, but it'll save us in the long run catching something before failure. It was brought up about the road edges. That was brought up tonight as well, but it was brought up by our snowplow. That's one of the problems that we see with our snowplows.
Fall off.
And yeah.
Makes a mess.
And so that was brought up. So again, it's something that Ted definitely has in his plan. We actually went through the GIS system that Ted was talking about in here today, that we've got all those things put on. The fire hydrants, we've got the group that they started the PRV evaluation.
No, they're going to be starting here soon.
Okay.
I talked to him a couple days ago, and they thought within the week.
Yeah, so
we can have.
We're gonna, all the pictures of that and everything. He showed us how that works and kind of went through that with us. And we've got our next meeting planned. We're not gonna have a July meeting, so it'll be August 6th. So that is Public Works. PTR, we have skipped that meeting this month, and we've got a scheduled date of, was it the 18th? Is that what I saw? Yeah, we kind of took the spot, the council did, so I apologize, but that was the only time we were gonna get our quorum in, so we kind of took PTR spot for July, so we're.
That's why you're here, Sherry, is to really hold our flag there. Oh, okay, all right, well, you're welcome.
Public comment.
Yeah.
And planning commission, planning commission was canceled on this one. And do we have something from Wayne? Looks like.
For council's information, the article in Wayne's World in the newsletter is on short-term rentals. I put enough in there, I think, to give people an idea of whether they want them or not. And I asked them to share their thoughts with the council members or planning commission members. So hopefully you may be getting some phone calls once the newsletter comes out, and then we'll take consensus. We'll talk about it further, and as we decide whether we want to do it or not want to do it. But you may be getting some phone calls from people. I encourage them to let their wishes known to you all. So just mention that to you.
Thanks, Wayne.
That's it for me.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Councilmember Kinnison.
We are busy scheduling patrols around the 4th of July, days maybe before, days after perhaps. We've got some good volunteers stepping up to fill those roles. We'll patrol with a couple of our fire trucks around and make sure people aren't having too much fun on the 4th of July week at times. So we're doing that. I'm contemplating a public safety meeting, but what I need before I hold one is a reason, and I need some agenda items. So I think I need to email the group and say, if you have agenda items, I want to know just feed them to me, and then we'll hold a meeting when we do that. So I'll send out an email and ask for those. Since Ted didn't have anything to do, I made a phone call to him, and I was concerned about the tall grasses down, especially across the road from the church. That big tall grass that's white scares me because it's just
So
waiting.
dry.
It's just waiting for ignition. And he had already planned on, and in fact, I drove down there today and the guys were out in 90-degree heat. We're beginning to weed eat that. I haven't seen the
It looks
progress.
really good.
Oh,
Yeah,
they've done
it
it
looks
all
good.
Oh,
already?
yeah, it looks, they've done a
They
lot
did
of-
that in 95-degree weather.
And they were in full gear too.
Are you
They were
kidding?
hot. I was just thinking, oh, is somebody bringing them some Gatorade
And
or
we,
something, right?
When I
But
looked,
it looked really
they
good.
were just starting and that was in the heat. So,
Yeah,
wow, that's impressive.
yeah.
Yeah, when
So,
they came up the hill, they were done.
A lot of citizens have pointed that out to me and I appreciate their input, and Ted was way ahead of me. So thank you very much for jumping on that so quickly. We had a good training this morning. I appreciated Sergeant Dutton participating in our fire training. Police and fire really need to work well together, and we would in an incident in our city. And so I appreciate that a lot. I think that's all I have. Oh, I do want to mention, the public asked about hydrants, and I just want the public to know that we have a super good app that when we respond on a fire call, we can hit a button on our phone and see the nearest hydrants that are near the scene we're at. So I tested that the other day. If I went over to Elk Ridge or Salem and even Walmart and we were helping on a fire, I could click my phone, and most our cities are really current on where hydrants are. And if they keep those updates like they've been doing, hydrants are easy to find when we're near an incident. So
Great.
it's great.
Here.
Yeah.
I got a question on that. I had oddly 2 requests this week, probably for you, Ted, from residents wondering if we have the ability for a metered hookup to a hydrant to either utilize for construction purposes or to fill up swimming pools. Well, that's why they want to know if there's a metered method so they can still pay for the water, but it would just be a higher velocity to fill up the pool.
Right.
So,
So right now they
great
just put it-
question. I did get the call.
Yeah, I got another
Question?
one right after the first one.
Yeah, I did get the call. I went and looked around in our shed shop down there. I couldn't find one, so that particular person, they weren't using a lot of water, and they in turn did us a favor. So we kind of traded favors. Oh, we've got one next to the printer.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the one who knows that really kind of runs the city was in Alabama at the time. So I wasn't aware of that, but that was the question I was going to ask is, yeah, meter to give contractors. So if they need water from us, they can take that meter and then pay for the water they use out of our
Yeah,
hydrants.
we've got a whole rate schedule for them and a deposit and everything ready to go.
Sweet.
Perfect. So a resident also could potentially tap into that resource as well by calling Jody, by calling the
Yes.
city.
Yeah. Call the city office.
Okay.
Someone might pick
Well,
up.
I've heard 2 yeses, but not one from Jody. Sherry, did you have something? Oh, let's get Sherry's question if you don't mind, Wayne, and then we'll get back to you.
Mine's just a comment for perhaps an item on the safety agenda. Where are we with the sirens? in the city.
Good ask.
We're in high fire danger right now, and how are we going to get out of here if? And the other thing, I did hear something about plowing, or I thought I did, and a couple of weeks ago, I was up in Timber Lakes. Our daughter and son-in-law have a cabin up there, and their HOA has installed speed bumps on the roads, and they plow way more than we do. Just to let you know, if we were thinking about speed bumps in certain places, I know the hesitancy has always been with plowing. They're plowing up there in Timber Lakes, and they have a lot of speed bumps. Just FYI.
Thank you. I wonder if they're of the sort that are on Goose Nest, which I don't think slow anybody down, including me.
I talked to someone who lives up there who's involved in the HOA, and I have to go back in my memory to see why they did what they did, because I asked them at the time. It's been about a year that I asked them about it, so I could probably reach out to her again.
Okay, thanks, Sherry. Wayne?
Yeah, just a comment. We've had concerns in the past about contractors, a little less, but certainly private individuals hooking into the hydrants. They don't know what they're doing, and concerned about that. The point where we've taken away small fire hoses that we used to give the contractors and told them to hook into the hydrant in the event they had a fire. Now we're telling them they need to take a garden hose and hook into the water if there's fire danger. So we need to be careful of who we allow to do that, and maybe some degree of supervision that would go along with that, so that we don't start creating problems for ourselves with the fire hydrants.
Whichever council member gives permission gets supervised.
Yeah, that works for the building. So
They
doing
call
the
me.
hydrants too.
And if I'm not mistaken, a lot of them want to hook up to the water, not as a fire prevention issue, but more of a filling their trucks to comply with SWIP, so that they,
So a lot of
so that
these-
they're keeping the dust down.
More particular, the contractor, and specifically the one that called, a lot of times, and general contractors, now the home builders, I agree with Wayne, they're usually not that familiar with how to run hydrants or that kind of stuff, and there's concern with those. Some of the larger, bigger contractors use water out of hydrants to fill their water truck, or to use for compacting roads and stuff like that, because you have to bring the soil to an optimum moisture content to compact it, and they use it for larger things like that. It's something a lot of cities do. They just give the contractor a meter, and they meter the water they pull out of the hydrants for their trucks. But I agree, we have to kind of make sure the contractor knows what they're doing, and I don't know that we would. I agree with Wayne. I don't know what we do for a home builder. Maybe some of the larger, which the one that called was a larger general contractor, and he actually probably knows hydrants better than any of us. So I wouldn't have been hesitant to let him do it. But
And
a
I
lot
don't
of
know
them
if
do
it
this
comes
in
up-
cities, so they're pretty familiar with it, because this is what a lot of other cities do. They give them meters when they have to fill their water trucks or use it on the roads for compaction or whatever.
I mean, it doesn't come up often enough that we would need like a policy. I mean, we can just use discretion.
We do have a policy. We've actually got a form they fill out and a deposit they have to make. Jody was just showing me all that.
Does that allow for residential use then, or is that commercial use only?
And most of these meters we're looking at wouldn't fit a residential meter connection. They're made for hydrants. So it would have to be, they would need like a contractor type level of water.
So it kind of writes itself just by virtue of the meter that you would need to provide.
Yeah. They wouldn't be able to hook a garden hose or even a 1-inch hose. It would have to be like a 3-inch type hose to it, and for large volumes to fill a water truck or something like that.
Okay. Do you have anything to add in light of all these comments and
He's the
so forth?
smartest one in the room. So
The siren update, the tower has been installed. Just by that. So we're moving the sirens here. The pedestal's been built. The tower's been in, the radio antenna tower is installed, and they've ran the cable into the room. Now they're just waiting on the radios and the base unit to get those updated, and then we'll be hooked up. So getting closer. It's just radios right now are 6 months to get radios once you order them. They're a long lead item.
So will we go most of the fire season with no sirens this year? Or?
I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, but I think he started this, ordered the radios probably almost 6 months ago. He's thinking they're going to be here any day now. So I'm hoping within a few weeks we've got this all done.
Okay.
But
Just asking since we had the conversation about when it gets scarier around here.
Right.
Mid-July.
All right. Well, thank you, Doral and others.
Well, if you look at the fire department's Facebook page, you'll see the fire season has started. We got a picture of our team out working a fire this week.
Okay, Councilmember Lunt?
Finance committee, we haven't met yet, but we're meeting on Wednesday. Ted, you are on the agenda tomorrow night at 7 for finance committee. Were you aware of that?
I am
No.
now.
Just on the agenda, it just shows you discussing some of the big purchase items that have been done recently. Probably update them on the well too. So,
Janet, is that here? Where is that finance committee?
it's here tomorrow night between 7 and 8:30.
So is our planning commission tomorrow night.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I have an agenda. Where'd Jody go?
She's in the hall in a conversation.
Because they sent it, he sent it a long time ago. Hey, Jody,
We may have a conflict with planning
Finance
commission
Committee.
and finance committee tomorrow night.
Are they both on the same time? I'm trying to go find my old email. He sent it a long time ago because he's been.
Ours starts at 7 and usually is over by 9.
Are they both on the same time? I'm looking and I can't find. Awesome. I mean, we can have it in my family room. I don't care, except we don't have a recorder. I can come get your little one. Okay, because there's only like 5 of us. Okay. I'll make sure I get here early and kind of direct them in there. That work, guys? Okay. All right, so that's fixed. So that's good. Events and volunteers, it's going good. I just sent Garrett an email. Did you see it? With the dates for traffic control. And then Mayor, we need to get with SCSD. I'll send out a text and have our little meeting and photo thing that we always do every year.
All right.
They hand us a
Try to
check.
get a big
and
check.
They
I
hand
want
us a
one of those
big
big
check and
cardboard
we do
checks.
this. And anyway, we need to get that scheduled. So I'll work on that. But that's going good. Callie's wanted to add the movie night back in, not having the fire department have to worry about it, but they want to add it back in. And so Tracy works at the hospital and they do movies there all the time. So she kind of found out how the movie rights work so we can do it legally. They need to raise about $500 to actually be able to show the movie. That's how much it will cost to show the movie. And we don't have it in the budget. So they were going to reach out to a few private citizens and see if they could get donations so that they can get the rights to a movie, do a movie night.
If we keep it as a nonprofit kind of thing, we've been able to
Yep.
get a cheaper price from Swank on the videos.
Because there's certain ones that are old enough that it allows you to show them.
Okay. Maybe I'll reach out to you after and get some information from you of where to look and I can pass that on to them.
Okay,
That
we
would
have an
be good.
account there. It's called swank.com, SWANK.
Okay.
And then we have the movie, the blow up movie thing should still be downstairs someplace, the movie screen blow up.
Because
Did it survive the purge?
I hope so. It was expensive.
yeah, because Rachel kind of was over it and she kiboshed it a couple of years ago because she wanted to make sure we were doing it legally. She didn't want it done illegally. So she, which I, is good, right? But so she kiboshed the movie night and anyway, Callie's want to bring it back. So, okay, swank.com. Nonprofit. Got it.
Yep, that's it.
You just have to there's a form to fill out. and stuff like that.
Okay.
We used to do it.
Yeah, somehow that got lost in translation, but we'll get it going again. And they were hoping maybe they could just sell concessions that night too and help cover some of the cost of the movie. Like I know it wouldn't cover all of it, but they were thinking that maybe if the money from the concession, because in the past the fire department did the concessions, and the money went to the fire department, right? For the concessions, probably. Doral, do you remember?
I do. That's exactly what happened.
So
Yeah, it was a loss.
It was a
Just 'cause we go to
loss.
Yeah, we go to
Yeah.
Costco, buy all the stuff, and we only sell a third of it. So
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought, that it wasn't really a fundraiser. That was kind of my thought too. But anyway, so that's probably the only extra change that I know of that they want to do is they want to bring that back. And then everyone's been great. Communication team, thank you for getting me everything. Fun when I open my email and I've got stats and I've got Wayne's World and all the things. So it's really good. It's my month to write one, and I'm not done yet, but I'm getting close. We have to start our rotation again. So do you want to go in the same order, or do you want to switch it up and I'll send out like a group text and everyone can pick the month they want to do for the last half of the year? That means, Mayor, you have to do another one.
Yeah, no, I'll defer to you on whatever you think works best. I'm fine with the order that we previously had, but if there's
I'll just
interest in
send out a
mixing it up,
text and everyone can pick a month if they have a preference.
okay.
You might have one that, you feel strongly about. So I'll do that.
So when is my deadline? When are we going to print on my message? When do I have to?
You don't have to do it again. It's not July. It starts again in August.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
July is me. I was the last one.
All right.
So I'll send out the text before then and we'll get everybody signed up again.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then last month when the newsletter went out, the links didn't work, but I think it's because Lori pulled it and probably didn't pull it in the same format because you have to pull it in a certain format for the links to work. So I'll make sure I pull it again and send it to her so that the links will work. But I don't know. That's all I got. Anybody else? Any comments?
No, but I would echo, I think that it's really useful information that's getting put out there. So thank you. Thank you for doing
Yeah,
that.
I've had some good comments. And honestly, if it was up to me to get all the content, it would be hard to do. For the feature this month, I'm going to do, Jody had sent me a link on fire prevention, fire awareness, and then there's some stuff on the fire department's page, and I'm just going to pull in some of that because we're coming into fire season. So that will be the main story.
Okay.
So anyway.
Is there a way to link the fire department Facebook page?
Yes, I'm going to add some links.
Okay, that'd be great.
I'm learning. I'm getting really good at it. So, yeah, you know, it's funny. The program I do it in, there's a couple of gals because we're in the real estate business that use that all the time for real estate flyers and stuff, and they're really good at it. So they've helped a lot with our city newsletter. I'm always like, okay, show me how to do this. So, yeah, I can add the links, and I already have a note to do that. So.
And before long, you'll work into podcasts. I know that's big in the real estate business.
I do
some
them.
interviews.
I
and,
have. I do title tips, and I do little videos. I haven't done one in a really long time. I need to do one.
All right. Well,
Anyway,
now we know you have that skill too.
oh boy.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Anything
it.
else? All right. Thank you. All right. Councilmember Malkovich.
You've already heard Brian's report on the Public Works Committee. Next meeting is on the 6th of August. Community Development, we had our kickoff meeting with Sunrise on the 13th, kind of getting to know everybody, asking city staff some certain questions. Kristen was here to answer some questions. Information was given about our other committee chairs, so they have been reaching out to all the committee chairs in the city to kind of get their feedback on a few things. So because all of it will be intertwined. And so we're at that point right now. They're putting together some information and we have not yet scheduled our second meeting.
Great. Thank you. All right. Any items for upcoming city council meetings that anyone
So
would like to bring up?
Ted brought up generators, and I do think that we need to put some serious thought into that. when the power went out. We've had this problem before where we actually have to lift our doors manually down there for the fire department. So Alan came down and actually put them all open and left them open so that if we had to go, we didn't turn into have an emergency, another situation where we
Trying to get out. Yeah.
and we took out a door. I won't say who it was, but he happens to be online.
I will. It was Doral.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I've done a lot of work on investigating the generators hooked up.
yeah,
And
so
he's talked
when,
about it for
when
quite a
this
few
building
years.
was built, it was built with a generator in mind, so it's already set up for that.
Already wired.
Everything's ready to go for a generator to take care of critical items, and that also includes the council areas that we work in, and the fire department. So
Alan would love to help on
he is,
that.
this has been his
It's
a thorn in his
it's a-
side for a long time,
Yeah.
and it's an emergency. I want to bring it up as an emergency issue. So as Ted puts plans together, understand that there are more things, and water's very important to us, but our emergency response is very important as well. And us as a council being able to meet, and that takes care of that. So if we get that, I do want to.
Are you looking in the like immediate future?
Well,
or-
Ted's working some ideas down there, and again, it's gonna take some funding. We're gonna need some funding for it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we've got stuff in the water to handle that, and we can, move other generators. But
Ted's always asking for money.
yes, Ted's always. And I'm coming to Ted with money needs. So.
I
Yeah.
know.
I don't care what any hippies say.
You
It matters.
need money.
Right. All right. No, that's a fair point. I mean, if you, so it sounds like we're still
Yeah,
trying
I just
to,
want to put it in everybody's head that this is out there and is going to need to be, it should be addressed as we get to this. We need to get.
okay, good point. All right. Well, then let's take a break and we will reconvene at 7:30. Okay. All right. Well, we will call our council meeting to order. And Ben, will you offer the invocation? And Carrie, will you lead us in the pledge?
I'd love to.
Our dear Father in heaven, we are so very grateful to be able to come together as this body, to be able to work over the needs and the obligations and the administration of our dear city. We're grateful for thy hand, for thy watchful hand that has protected us these many years. We pray that thou wilt continue to do so. We're grateful for our residents, for those, especially those that have come in attendance to our meetings. And we're also very grateful for those that have not. We're grateful for their contributions, for those that reach out to us and express their feelings, thoughts, and concerns. We pray that they may continue to do so and feel comfortable doing so. We're grateful for our wonderful staff, for all that they do, for the over and above effort that they place and put in sacrifice to this wonderful city. We're especially grateful for their families also and the sacrifices they make in having spouses that work for each of us. We pray that thou wilt watch over us, bless us, protect us. Let thy spirit guide us and help us to do that which we should, that will give us the best benefits to our wonderful residents. And we say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Thank you.
Please rise.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. We will open the public comment portion of our meeting. And
Sherry, you got anything?
thank you. All right. Well, on that very positive note, we will close the public comment portion of our meeting and move on to item 10, approval of large purchase requests. So We don't have a hard number. What would be your closest estimate that you could give, Ted?
So I think the original number, let's see, we're at 25 and 40, 65. We're about 66 right now with the cable and the pump motor and shipping. I would guess we would probably be, the supplier shit and labor costs were probably in excess of 10 right now. So I don't know, maybe 20 is a safe number. So that would put us about 86. I don't know, maybe 90. I think 85 was kind of the number in the text that was we're doing, but maybe we're about 90 with everything would be a high number. I would hope. He was hoping to have that number to me by about 6:30 tonight. I'd asked him, but he must not have been able to get it. So
Okay. No, I think
90's my notes.
90. Okay.
Wow.
I'd recommend 100 just to be safe.
yeah, and we could do that to be safe.
How much is in our savings, Chris, to cover it?
What? 1.4.
So we're good.
We're okay.
There's
I
room
just
for
wanted to
tip.
check.
I was surprised. I had a junk collector come to my house today, and when I paid him, there was a tip section, and so I tipped the junk collector.
No,
Well, I did, but
no, there's a rule. If you're standing and they're standing and you don't.
Oh, really?
No,
Well,
you don't
You should have
tip.
told me that rule 12 hours ago. All right. So
You gotta explain
So
that
is
to
this
me
100,000,
later.
the total, just for right now, and then we'll have more in the fall, or is this covering even the fall?
No, the fall is going to be a lot more.
That's a
Just put it that way. We're doing a lot of work to the well house. It's going to be changing pipes, pumps, updating electrical, hooking up the generator, fuel tanks, fuel pumps, all that kind of stuff. So in the fall, there's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot larger project.
So right now, we're looking for a motion for $100,000 for
Yes.
repairs.
yes.
Okay, I'd be happy to make that motion for $100,000 in repairs for the well house up on Broad Hollow.
Okay. That's a motion
I'll second.
by Councilmember Hilliard, Councilmember Malkovich seconds. I don't think this is a roll call vote, but I'll just call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries, and we'll come back and vote again if it does turn out to be a roll call vote, but I don't think it is. All right,
She's back.
Roll call?
that's not a roll call vote, right? Large purchases?
Okay.
All right, then we're good. So it was requested that we enter a brief closed session. So if we could get a motion to do that, we can. Okay, a motion by Councilmember
Who's
Hutchings
calling it
Second.
and for what reason?
I would like to get an update
on legal.
on legal.
Okay.
Okay, Councilmember Hutchings makes a motion to enter closed session,
Second.
seconded by Councilmember Kinnison. Councilmember Hutchings.
Yes.
Councilmember Kinnison.
Yes.
Councilmember Lunt.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilliard.
Yes.
Councilmember Malkovich.
Yes.
Okay, we are closing the session. Thanks, Sherry. See you later.
And orchestra.
Okay. All right, we are back, and if we can get a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Okay,
second it.
motion by Councilmember Hilliard, seconded by Councilmember Lunt. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
See you guys. See you tomorrow morning.
Sign the
Chris.
paperwork on your way out.
Bye.
For the. Oh, good.
We're good.
Okay.
Do I need to sign the closed session